On Saturday in the Divisional playoffs in the NFL, Tennessee Titans are a 3-point home favorite over the Baltimore Ravens, with the total currently at 34.5, up from 33.5 and down from 35 a few hours ago. Now, this is going to be an interesting, tight, close game. Both teams were big money makers on the year. Both were 12-4 against the spread during the regular season, and Baltimore did cover the spread in their win last year as a road favorite. Baltimore covered over Miami, but Baltimore is on a short week, 6 days of rest here, while Tennessee, of course, got a bye, so they are getting a lot healthier on defense and will have the benefit of extended rest. Now, these two teams did meet earlier in the year, with Tennessee getting a road win and cover at Baltimore as a 1-point favorite. Score in that game was 13-10, so that game went under the very low total of 33.5. That game was very tight, could have gone either way. Will the same thing happen here? I'm not sure. We'll see, but with a physical style of play expected, the rest discrepancy could make a difference. And once again, we're fortunate to have SBR moderator Justin Seven on the phone with us to try to figure out how to think better about this game. Justin?
Hey, Peter. How you doing?
Thanks again for joining us. All right, now the first thing I want to mention is the injury situation. Tennessee had some pretty notorious injuries on both sides of the line at the end of the year. Albert Haynesworth, Kyle Vanden Bosch, and Pro Bowl center Kevin Mawai were all injured at the end of the year. Haynesworth and Vanden Bosch have been practicing, and they will both be back for this game. Justin, you have anything to say about any of those injuries for now?
Well, if you look at what Mawai said on USA Today, he was reported as saying he wasn't going to play, and his coach then...
Right. I saw that. He didn't say it, and then they made him take it back.
Yes, but I think that's actually possibly the most significant injury. A center, people underestimate the importance of a center. A center is like your quarterback for your offensive line, and the center calls the blocks that are going on. And if Mawai's not playing, that's a huge loss for the Titans. When I'm capping a game, sometimes I put a center as a bigger point differential than even the quarterback.
Do you think that Mawai's replacement is a big step down for Tennessee?
Well, obviously, Mawai's all-pro, so yes.
Now, I have been hearing from the books that this line is very tight, and it's not expected to come off the 3. The line has bounced around a little bit on the money line, but it's pretty solidly on the 3, and I have heard from the books that this is a tight line. Now, let's get down to the analysis of this game. Baltimore obviously has a very talented, very physical defense. They're coming off of a short week and off of a tough playoff game. Tennessee is getting healthier all around. Do you think that this short week will impact Baltimore's effectiveness on defense?
No, I don't. And I think people overestimate the significance of a bye week. If you look at how teams do in the NFL during the regular season off a bye week, they generally do pretty poorly.
That's interesting. That seems a bit counterintuitive, because it would seem that a team like Baltimore that relies so much on physical defense would maybe shoot their load, as it were, very easily late in the season in an intense playoff atmosphere. But you don't think that's going to be an important factor here?
I think they treat players like beasts of burden, and they just drug them up to get the performance they need. So yes, you're hurting the players long term, but it's not that significant as far as game day.
Right, I hear you. If I were a coach, I would treat them as beasts of burden, so it makes sense. All right, well, I think I'm liking Tennessee here, perhaps on the money line. I think that Tennessee is a very similar team to Miami, but way superior in most areas, particularly in the run game and particularly on defense. I'm leaning towards Tennessee, maybe on the money line, because it is expected to be a low-scoring, close game. What do you think about that?
I expect it to be a low-scoring game also. I wouldn't expect more than 2 or 3 offensive touchdowns tops. If neither team makes a big mistake, for example, giving a pick six or a fumble return for a touchdown, I think this game will be decided by field goals. So, if you look at the last matchup, it was there were 3 field goals to 2 touchdowns, and it was decided by a missed field goal. So yes, I like Tennessee on the money line better than I do on laying the points. But actually, my favorite side is Baltimore taking the 3 points, or in fact, paying a lot of money to get Baltimore plus 3.5.
Really? So you think right, because then even if Tennessee wins by a field goal, you still get the win. That's interesting. All right, well, that brings me to my next question, which is the possibility of involving Baltimore in a teaser. Now, of course, this is expected to be a close game. The line is considered to be tight and not going to move. There's a low total, so a lot of people, I'm sure, might be looking at buying all those points and using Baltimore in a teaser, buying up to 9 or 10. What do you think about that?
Normally, I don't like to tease teams that are a 3-point underdog. But when the total gets low enough, and in this case total at 34.5, and when you have games that are likely to be decided by 1 or 2 or 3 field goals, I like the teaser. I think a teaser is a good play in this, but I don't know what you tease it with.
Let's talk about the total now. Now, this is an interesting total. It's a very low total. The last game between these two teams went to only 23 points, went way under a game that also had a low total. But there are some ATS trends that might cause someone to like the over here. Baltimore was a strong over trender on the road this year at 6-1-1, and Tennessee was a strong over trender at home this year at 6-2. And so for those reasons, and the fact that the total is quite low, I can see why someone might want to lean towards taking the over here. I don't know at all what I think about this total. I'm definitely going to lean off it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I definitely like the under. If you look at how these teams' defenses perform, both of them defensively have given up more field goals than touchdowns. And both of these have very conservative offenses where they're not trying to score quickly. They're trying to just get better field position and score off of that. So I think you're going to have a lot of running, which means fewer possessions, and you're not going to have a lot of offensive touchdowns. I think the fair total is probably about 31 on this game. Okay,
thanks, Justin. Well, there you have it. I like Tennessee on the money line. Justin likes the under and sees possible value buying Baltimore off the 3 to 3.5. Should be an interesting game. We'll see if Baltimore can maintain their impressive defensive play off a short week.